This podcast is part of the Shrimp Queen Network.
Visit facebook.com/Shrimp Queen Network to see more great podcasts.
Hear them.
Hear more great podcasts.
Good job.
Thanks for listening. In 3, 2, 1.
I know, you see, somehow the world will change for me and be so wonderful. Ding dong ding.
Gibby. Hello and welcome to iCarly.
Hi.
Sorry, I'm just getting up my list.
And I'm eating some Annie's mac and cheese. We're not sponsored.
When is this not a mukbang because of you?
Look, you expect me to do this right when I get done work. I'm hungry.
I do it at the same time of day.
You get home before me.
By a couple minutes, maybe.
No.
Anyway.
No, honey, that's a lie.
Thank you for tuning into 10 for 10. This is the second in our 3-episode Game of Thrones special.
Mm-hmm. Please don't wink at me. Thank you.
Today we got our tickets for Avengers Endgame. I'm very excited. Oh boy, it already broke the record for most ticket pre-sales on Fandango's website in 6 hours.
I have a small question. Why is the other earbud inside your shirt?
That's just what I do.
Okay.
To keep it masked. So there's no feedback at all.
Okay.
What else? Oh, well, if this is your first time tuning in, because we had a nice spike in listenership because of last week's episode, which was very encouraging. Thank you for tuning in. Each week, one of us usually devises a top 10 list of something that we are passionate about, interested in, or want to learn more about, or something along those lines. And we write it up and present it to the other for jokes and discussion and questions and comments and examples and comparison.
And long tangents about nothing that we were just talking about.
True. This week's episode is on episodes. So how meta is that?
Ha!
I'm sorry, Jess, you asked me to turn that light on.
It's okay.
And I just did. But this week's episode's a little bit different because one of us is way cooler than the other and one of us got their job done.
One of us was doing her actual job and could not.
Anyway.
Did not have time to do this.
Let's not get into the semantics on it.
You started it.
Jess, can we stop?
I have small people that rely on me.
I have big people that rely on me.
Yeah, but small people can't, care for themselves. Big people can.
My big people have small people who rely on them. So, it's a circle.
No.
Anyway, this episode is on the top 5, 10-ish episodes of Game of Thrones. So because Jess couldn't really get her list done
I apologize
at all, I'm just going to kind of elaborate on some of my honorable mentions as if they were entries. So
let's be honest.
This is episodes of
so many goddamn honorable mentions.
Game of Thrones, the TV show. This is not influenced by the books. I am generally judging them separate from that. I mean, if they do a good interpretation or a good job adapting one of the a famous scene from the books or something along those lines, that did come into consideration. What else? As well as just general production value, acting, direction.
And I feel like for you it's going to be ones that had more scenes with characters that you like.
Yeah, possibly. But also just in general, high quality episodes. These are the episodes you should show someone who might be on the fence of getting in this show.
But it's also very dangerous because they're all such spoilers.
Yeah, so this is your spoiler warning from now on. The rest of the episode, if you are not fully caught up on Game of Thrones, even though I will not really be talking about Season 7 that much.
Season 7?
Yes, the most recent one.
Why not?
because there are no entries on my list from
Oh
season
my
7.
god. Why do you keep fucking with this?
Sorry, I fucked up the microphone stand. Anyway, sorry,
Real
that
quick,
poster
did you
is
see
bothering
Maisie
me
Williams'
behind
April Fool's
you.
joke?
Yes, I did. That was funny. What if it's an April Fool's joke and that it wasn't a joke?
And that it's real and that Arya dies in episode 2.
That would be ballsy as fuck. Even though I like Arya, that would still be super ballsy.
Oh my god.
Anyway, let's get into it. As my man Philip DeFranco would say.
Let's just jump right into it.
Thank you. So, honorable mentions. I have in parentheses, screw you, there's a lot. But in the end, my honorable mentions have saved us. So I'm just going to go in the order that I put them on, which is the order that they were released.
Okay.
Number 1, season 1.
How many honorable mentions are there?
6, 7, 8, 10, 11.
Are you fucking kidding me?
11.
So this is about to be a 16?
In a way, but these are not ranked. These are... I mean, one of them is definitely would have been like my number 6.
By the way, guys, I know no episode by like the title, so when he says these, I'm not gonna have any fucking clue.
I'll give a brief
like
synopsis.
Other than like 2 of them.
Okay.
Oh, the 2.
Season 1. Well, do you want to tell me, like, because you were starting to look into yours, do you want to give me like some of yours that you like, or just like moments that you really enjoy?
Here's my deal. I literally don't have favorite episodes because there's always moments in each episode where I'm just like, I don't feel like watching like this part of
my number 1.
Honestly, they have all
I guarantee you my number 1 is
through. I think I know what your number 1 is. I believe I know what your number 1 is because you wouldn't shut up about it after it aired, and then you watched it more than one time and just you would not shut up about it. It's a great episode.
Season 1, episode 1, Winter is Coming. First episode of the show.
I hate that episode.
I mean...
I had to watch it 4 times because I was like, I couldn't follow it.
You've got to give it props for starting off pretty freaking strong in terms of like production quality, acting, casting. If it weren't for that episode, the rest of the show wouldn't exist, and it almost didn't exist. They reshot basically the entire first episode because the initial pass at it was just so terrible.
Yeah. But
they had to do it again.
That episode.
And I believe they recast some characters.
They did, and Maisie Williams and Sophie Turner were really scared that they were never going to see each other again.
Did you know who was the second choice for Jon Snow?
Can I get a hint?
He later was on the show as basically, let's say, Jon's...
Oh, I do know this. It's the one who plays Ramsay.
Yeah, Ewan Ryan.
The one who looks like Daniel Radcliffe a little bit.
Yeah, I could see that.
I think that they could be like cousins or something.
Yeah. So really, it's a strong start.
I did know that. I forgot.
I know that it's kind of tough for newcomers, but I mean, going back and watching it, it's like, oh, this is great. And everyone's so innocent and nice. But in comparison to a lot of other...
Not everyone. Somebody did push a child out the window.
Yeah.
He wasn't exactly nice. Now he's nice.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I guess the next one on my list is season 3, episode 5, Kissed by Fire. This is the episode where John and Ygritte...
Fuck.
Yeah, they admit that they're in love with each other and they bang. That's a pretty big one.
I believe this is... Or no?
This might...
Or does that
No, that's the next episode. Okay. Called The Climb. It's the climb. I believe this is also the episode where...
This is actually a Hannah Montana episode.
Robb Stark, I think, either marries his new bitch or finds out that she's pregnant. It's a pretty big episode for Robb, too. It's a big episode for the Stark boys. But my number 1 is because it's my favorite pairing on the show.
Because you see his butt.
And her boobies.
But you see
a lot of boobies in the show. Next one. Season 4, episode 6, The Laws of God and Gods and Men. This is the episode with Tyrion's trial. It's one of the best scenes in the entire show. Yes, he got nominated that season, I believe so.
But which season did he win? Because I know he got an Emmy for Game of Thrones before. He did deserve it just for that.
Phone.
For that
I can't
episode
use my phone. I have my list up on it.
I'm holding a bowl of mac and cheese.
Well, you can put the bowl down.
That
scene alone makes that episode great. His speech. It's a lot of power behind it.
It was
also
emotional.
Has a great blooper of him being led in
Oh, when they're dancing?
Yeah, where they dance on their way in. Number next, season 4. I can't not say number, like when I look down at my list. Season 4, episode 8, The Mountain and the Viper. We already kind of spoke about this a lot at length last episode, where we covered tragic deaths. This is one of those deaths, where Oberyn Martell dies, and Tyrion is basically sentenced to death.
But according to Tywin, he wasn't actually going to let him die. Bitch.
Season 4, episode 9. Now, this was going to be my next on my actual list. This is a great episode. This is the episode where Jon and all the...
What's it called?
The Watchers on the Wall. And all the others at the wall have to defend it against the wildlings showing up. It's the episode where Ygritte dies, where Pip and Gren die.
Where you decide Ollie must die.
Yeah, and Ollie's a little bitch in it. But it's a really, really cool action sequence, even though it's kind of... I guess it isn't small scale, but it's a very... No. Okay. He gets commander because of his actions.
Okay.
From that, because the real commander is kind of wimps out a little bit.
Yeah.
That's just such a great sequence. Definitely check that one out. What's next? Season 6, episode 2, Home. It's the episode where Jon comes back.
Oh, from
that episode.
Oh my God, I was literally like, from where?
That episode reinvigorated my passion for the show, because after a lot of season 5, I was like, this was a really bad season. It was really boring. It dragged a lot. There were barely any there's barely any progression made in any of the major stories. And they killed Jon at the end, and I was like, well, what the fuck?
Nobody thought he was actually dead. Like, he was the one character that everyone was like, yeah, fucking right. Like, I get it, but no.
And season 6, episode 2, not only does he come back, but also it just really started to ramp things up in terms of pacing and wrapping the story towards its ending. And I was like, all right, we're fucking back in this shit. I believe that's also the episode where Arya is like, I'm fucking done with this Bravos shit. I'm going home.
Is that season 2 where she starts her journey?
Season 6.
Sorry, season 6. Episode 2. That's when she starts her journey?
I believe so. And she meets Hot Pie.
But she's blind for like a while before she kills the waif. A few episodes.
Does she? Oh, shit.
Yeah, because if she goes blind the season finale of 5, she was blind for quite a few episodes in season 6. Sorry to burst that bubble.
In the North, Lord Harold Karstark arrives.
Search, when does Arya get her sight back? When does Arya kill the waif? That's easier.
Oh, it's right after Marcella Baratheon dies.
That's when she died?
Season 6, episode 1, yes.
Oh my God, that seems like... I thought that was more recent for some reason. Anyway. But no, she was definitely blind for like a few episodes. Because we obviously didn't see her every episode.
Yeah, you're right.
Because it was like it was like towards the end when she like...
Sorry, this is the episode where Bran Stark travels back in time for the first time. That's another cool
where does he go?
Aspect of it. He just goes back, and like sees his young dad and Lyanna.
And riding the horse. So she just like comes in, everyone was like, oh my God.
Are you going to say
like,
something?
Me?
Excuse you.
Oh, excuse
you boiped. Me. Euron Greyjoy kills what's-his-face. Balon, who was a piece of shit, so whatever.
So, no offense to the Greyjoys, but you're popping out pieces of shit.
Yeah.
Theon, please just keep up with this redemption arc for this final season. Get your sister back.
Season 6, episode 3, The Door. Again, Hodor's death.
I don't want to talk about it.
Fucking hell, man. Season 6, episode 10, The Winds of Winter. This was probably their best season finale, because usually they...
Never mind. I just realized why you didn't say a certain episode, because you can't say it yet.
This was probably their best season finale, because most of the season finales aren't that big, because usually...
With, the King in the North! The King in the North! And it goes in, and then everyone was like,
Mm-hmm.
It was fucking Jon.
It's the episode where...
And what's her name?
Cersei
is giving birth, and then... Yeah.
Where Cersei blows up the sept, and I'm like, God damn. And then Tom and Comet sussed.
Marjorie was like, they should have listened to Marjorie when she was like, we need to get out of here.
Yeah.
My God.
And then it confirms Jon's lineage.
Yeah.
He is elected king in the North.
Well, actually, they didn't say it. Everyone just tried to read her lips. But then it cut straight to him after the baby.
Yeah.
They did not flat out say it for another goddamn season.
No, everybody confirmed it.
I know, everyone was like, just say it. We just want to hear it. We just want to hear you say it. And that's all we want. You know?
Yeah.
You know?
Season 7, episode 4, The Spoils of War. That's the episode that ends with Daenerys attacking the Lannister
God.
Brigade. Their little...
And everyone thought that Jaime or Bronn was like going to die. And I was like, they're not going to die yet.
And it's like fucking crazy. Mm-hmm. That's a great action sequence. Then season 7, episode 6, Beyond the Wall, which was Beyond the Wall.
It's not a fave of yours?
It's good, but it's not a fave.
Is that the one where...
That's the one where they go to like the ice lake. Yeah. And everyone's stuck and they're attacked.
Yeah, I thought that was such a good one.
Yeah, that was a good one. But that's not on my list.
Okay.
Maybe...
See what I mean? I think they're all good.
Honestly, that one and The Watchers on the Wall could be my number 5, but I didn't want to put them on my number 5 because then it would be way too samey for the whole list. And I was like, I don't want to do that. Do you see like what I mean? Every episode, I'm like, oh my God, yeah. But I don't... I just like them all. And then finally on my honorable mentions, I have season 7, episode 7, The Dragon and the Wolf, which is the most recent episode. It aired in 2017. Yep. At the midpoint of the summer. Pretty sure it was
500 and how many days?
The end of the summer. A while ago. Anyway, that we saw basically all of the major players come together for the first time on screen.
Oh my God, it was amazing.
Since basically like the show started. And even then, not everybody who's at that scene was there. Jon's like, we gotta fucking White Walkers. Let's just like put all this shit behind us and just take care of this. Mm-hmm. And then we can go back to fighting each other. And
then he can't tell a little
Jaime
fucking
basically
lie.
Completed his redemption arc.
By leaving. And telling Cersei.
Fuck off.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's...
All the reunions in that episode was just so like, oh, like Brienne got to tell the Hound that Arya did make it home safe. Like, that worked out. Like Bronn, Tyrion, and Podrick, also, my boyos.
As much as I love the Beyond the Wall episode, it is kind of pointless because anybody who dies on or even near the wall turns into a White Walker. They could have just taken someone who was due to be executed, hung them a mile north of the wall,
but I think at that point,
brought them back.
It was like we need as many people as we can to fight. We're not going to kill somebody for no like, you know what I mean? If they can be used to fight them, then they should stay alive.
I feel like it's far more... more people ended up dying because they went there. Anyway, it was a good episode.
Well, also I think it was to like get everyone to like truly believe it.
All right. Now on to my actual list. So I actually switched my number 5 and my number 4. So this was originally my number 4, but it's now my number 5. So number 5.
That's a very important thing to know, guys.
Season 2, episode 9, The Blackwater. Written by George R.R. Martin himself. Directed by Neil Marshall. Aired May 27th, 2012. Here's my recap. I actually have a recap for each episode, so it should fill the episode out. It's set entirely in King's Landing. So Stannis, still the menace at this point.
Oh, you were watching this episode yesterday?
Yes, and his fleet, led by Sir Davos Seaworth, Davos, have made their way to King's Landing shores.
The real man.
Bronn and the Hound have stuck around to fight for the Lannister Kingsguard forces, currently led by King Joffrey. Sidebar, Joffrey makes Sansa kiss his sword before going to fight, and it's really fucking weird. And he's like, I'm going to kill your brother with this sword. Cersei is given a powerful poison should Stannis win the fight, and then gets drunk while in the safe room with Sansa and all the noble ladies and kids, including Shae. Tyrion uses a wildfire trap set off by Bronn to destroy a large number of Stannis' fleet, killing Davos' son Mathis in the process. And a ton...
I forgot he had a son!
He had 3 sons.
I know, but like... that we met.
Yeah. Yep.
He's just been through so much.
And taking out, basically all of Stannis' fleet at this point. Yeah. Not all of his soldiers, but a lot of his
Tyrion was fucking amazing.
His ships, I guess. Stannis lands the rest of his forces on the beach and the battle ensues. They're at the gates with a battering ram, leading to the Hound deserting at the sight of fire. Joffrey pussying out like a boss and retreating to the Red Keep because Cersei tells him to. Even though Lancel, who is so cool at this point, is like, what the fuck? No, he needs to be on the battlefield. Yeah, he's like, no, he was fucking Cersei at this point.
He was?
Yeah, he at least had, some semblance of a good head on his shoulders. He was like, he needs to be there because he keeps morale up by being there because he's the king. Yeah. Cersei reveals that everyone in the Red Keep, including herself and Sansa, are to be killed if the Baratheon forces win, by Sir Ilan Payne. Tyrion takes up leadership on the front lines and actually kind of turns the tide for a short period. He manages to rally the forces to win the battle, but suffers a pretty terrible blow to the face and is saved by Podrick Payne. He's kind of about to be killed, and then his dad and the Tyrell forces show up and really win the battle. Sansa turns down the Hound's offer to go north with him, and Cersei almost mercy kills herself and Tommen, but she stopped because her dad and beautiful boy Loras Tyrell show up to stop her, and that's how the episode ends.
The most beautiful boy.
Why this is number 5. This was the series' first true battle episode and remains one of its best as well. Despite being focused on the action, this allows for a lot of important character moments to occur, such as Joffrey showing everybody that he's a little bitch. As does the Hound. He's kind of a little bitch boy in this episode. That's a phrase my friend uses a lot. So it's obviously rubbed off on me. But no one's rubbing off on me. Like, I'm not sugar gay.
Anyway, a lot of people use that phrase.
Yes. We also see what scares Cersei the most. Her children being killed.
Another all.
That sucks. The Hound leaves, thus leading to his eventual run-in and companionship with Arya. Sansa shows that she's a shrewd pragmatist and understands how to generally stay alive best she can. Tyrion is a full-on badass and an excellent leader, even though he never gets his proper recognition for it. Mm-hmm. And Davos and Stannis both suffer a great loss after being sure they'd win the battle, leading to some cracks to appear in their relationship. Thanks, Melisandre. Bitch.
I'm fine with that.
Yeah. It's a good one.
Mm-hmm. I know, I'm fine with the cracks in their relationship.
Oh, yeah. So this was my number...
I never liked Stannis the way that you did. Stop fucking with the microphone.
I guess it's just because I have read the books, and that's why. Because he was, after Robb got... He was, like, the sensible choice to win the Battle of the War of the Five Kings, but no one ended up winning the War of the Five Kings. Did they all die?
They're all dead.
Yeah, okay. They all died.
Because it was... Robb. Oh, my elbow just cracked.
Robb, Stannis,
Renly,
Joffrey,
and
was it fucking Balon Greyjoy?
Yeah, was it Greyjoy? Yeah, because Theon was like taking over Winterfell and shit like that.
Yeah, they did a great job. But I guess Balon technically was the last one standing, but then died. So I guess Euron won the War of the Five Kings.
No,
I guess we get into semantics. He's weird, but I kind of like him as a villain.
Whenever I hear his name, I think of like the term urology, which is like...
Yeah, it kind of makes sense.
Like
he's kind of
penises.
A penis.
Yeah, he's a dick. Is that why they named him that?
Urine Greyjoy. like pee?
No, a urologist has to do penises, not pee.
I'm saying he's urine Greyjoy.
No, but no.
But yeah, this was my number 4, but then I kind of rewatched it and I was like, this is good, but I don't think it's good as my next... Excuse me.
Not good as my next. What?
My next entry.
Okay.
So my next entry is a very important one.
Okay, is it another battle?
No.
Okay.
No.
What season?
But when I was writing this, I did realize a trend that happened. I'll see if you can pick up on it. Season 1, episode 9.
It's a lot of episode 9s, isn't it?
It's almost all episode 9.
Okay, then I think I know at least 2 of them coming up.
Baylor,
Is this the one where Ned?
Yeah, written by David Benioff and D.B. Weiss, directed by Alan Taylor, who went on to direct the worst MCU movie.
Hold on, the worst MCU?
Yeah.
Sorry. I need to. I don't know.
Thor: The Dark World. He went on to direct that. Which is definitely the worst MCU movie. But he was also like a producer or something. And he might even still be an executive producer. So generally, good job, Alan Taylor. Mm-hmm. It initially aired June 2011. June 11th, 2011. Okay. He actually Alan Taylor just did a breakdown of Ned's death on Wired, like how they do those like scene by scene things. So that's really interesting, and he gave like a lot of good like insight on their set and their really restrictive budget at that point, because the budget for the entire first season was $10 million, and by the time they got to season 6, the budget for each episode was $10 million. So
for each episode,
talk about a glow up, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, because they treat it like a 10-hour movie. It's
wild that they were like unsure if it was going to be successful.
When they were filming, they filmed for 240 days out of the year in 5 different countries / locations.
For one season?
With around 150 sets, 160...
Oh God, excuse me, guys, I'm so sorry.
160 main actors, 1,000 crew members, 5,000 like extras.
Characters?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, and 5,000 extras. I read that as a factoid.
It's just fucking insane.
So, brief recap. After being told by Tywin that he is to lead a fight against the Starks, Tyrion meets Shay and tells her and Bronn a personal story about his first love.
Fucking Shay, I'm sorry. I hated her. The only time I ever liked her was when Sansa got her period and she tried to like help her like hide it and said she wouldn't have to like
have a baby.
Fuck like Joffrey. That was like the one time that I was like, yes, bitch. You know?
Yeah. Did you know that she's like a porn star?
Yes, and you've told me this, I think, at least 30 times. Minimum.
He is then knocked out before the battle even takes place and survives by virtue of luck, but all of his like wildling buddies are killed. Because do you remember he had like a little band of wildlings beforehand? Or like barbarians or something like that?
Wait.
Tyrion did.
He did?
Yes.
I thought he only had Bronn.
But he was pretty sure that his dad was just trying to get him killed. At the Twins, Robb and Catelyn arrived to bargain with their owner, Walder Frey. This is his first episode as well. With Catelyn promising Robb and Arya to the Freys in terms of marriage for passage through the Twins at their will. So this allows a majority of the Stark forces to ambush the Lannisters, win, and take Jaime hostage. At the Wall, Jon is given Longclaw by Jeor Mormont as a thank you for saving him from a White Walker. Mm-hmm. He feels he should be helping Robb fight, but is advised by Maester Aemon, who reveals that he is a Targaryen and technically Jon's great-great-uncle, but neither of them know that at that point.
So why didn't anybody know that, like, did anybody on the Knights?
He's over 100.
Or was it just since he was...
At that point,
like nobody remembered.
Yeah, nobody really remembered. It's not a secret.
Did he keep it private, like on purpose, just because?
But like, it's just like when you go to the Wall,
it was like dangerous to be a Targaryen, like no matter what.
Yeah,
I feel like.
But I mean, he's telling the story about how when his brother was being attacked, or his nephew was being attacked, whoever. What's his face was to him.
Who, the Mad King?
Yeah.
It would have been his nephew.
Yeah. When his nephew was being attacked, he wanted to go fight, but then was like, well, I've already taken up this oath, so I can't. So,
okay. He was a real... I liked him. Like, he was just like, genuinely like a...
In Hlazar, Khal Drogo is in a bad way as his wound has been infected. To save him, despite Jorah's warnings, Dany asks Miri Mazdur to use blood magic to save Drogo. But then Dany goes into premature labor during the process, and Jorah must enter the tent where Miri is doing blood magic in order to save Dany's life, but it's kind of left up open-ended at the end. In that episode, at least. It's answered in the next episode, but like... Their story kind of ends with him going into the tent with her. And then finally, in King's Landing, Varys tells Ned that if he gives a fake confession, he could go to the Wall to be with Jon and save his daughter's lives. Because Ned's like, I'm not gonna say that I did something that I didn't do. And then Varys is like, you're being a fucking idiot.
Usurp them? But it
was it was a plan that he hatched with Stannis to get Stannis on the throne. Because he was saying that Stannis should be on the throne because of Joffrey's illegitimacy. Because that is what Robert wanted.
But he didn't. It's not because of Joffrey being illegitimate. It was just like, my fucking child can't do this.
Well, if you're not going to do it for yourself, do it for your daughters. Because if you get executed, they're probably going to be next, or just like tortured for the rest of their lives.
Like, so it's kind of what happened to Sansa a little bit.
Yeah. So
Arya didn't have a great run of it either, but at least she got out of King's Landing.
Arya sneaks her way into his public confession, where Ned notices her and tells Yoren, who's the Night's Watch recruiter who's in town, of her location to make sure that he gets her out of there. He confesses, but instead of holding true to their deal, King Joffrey orders Ned's execution, much to Arya, Sansa, Cersei, Varys, and Littlefinger's dismay, because all of them were like...
Even Cersei was like, what the fuck? Like, do you know how many people are gonna hate you now? Like,
yeah, he started a fucking war.
I'm sure she wanted him dead, but she was like smart. She's so smart. Like, she knew, like, don't kill him, because you're gonna make half of this fucking like kingdom hate you.
Yeah, and he did. So why is this number 4? So Baelor is the episode that really changed the game for Game of Thrones and a ton of other shows on at the time. It made it a standout and elevated its status to must-watch television on par with other shows like Mad Men and Breaking Bad at the time. Like, it was really...
It was a show that was like, we will kill you, the main character.
Inducted into the TV renaissance that everyone talks about at that point in time because of this episode. They killed off. Not only does it take the super ballsy move of subverting about every expectation and trope in the book by having Ned, the most famous cast member and de facto protagonist, executed, pretty gruesomely too, it also sets up a ton of huge future plot points and character development. So along with Ned's death, this show and story showed that it would be more about the usually ignored characters in fantasy stories, such as the dwarves, the daughters, and the bastards. But that
doesn't quite sound like the quote.
What quote?
The way they said the dwarves, the daughters, and the bastards instead of, what is it? Cripples, bastards, and broken things.
Something, yeah.
That's what I was thinking when you said it.
Title.
I thought that's where you were like getting to, and I was like, that's not the right quote.
Because like I guess everybody thinks of this as the episode where Ned died, but it's like, excuse me. It does set up a shit ton of other stuff with all the other character stories.
Oh, Arya's a teacher.
Syria? He's already dead.
No, I thought that was that episode where we don't know if he's...
No, Arya's already been like on the run at this point, yeah. That happens, I think, either the episode before or the episode even before that, episode 7. I mean, we have Tyrion meeting Shay.
Fucking hated Shay.
We have Robb and Catelyn promising Robb and Arya to the Freys, which really comes back to bite them in.
Wait, what? Repeat
it has Robb and Catelyn promising Robb and Arya to the Freys.
Oh, to like marry?
Yes, I said that in my recap.
I know, but Arya, I just kind of like completely glazed over that one, I guess, because I did not remember that.
Then they go on to kidnap Jaime as well. At the Wall, Jon gets Longclaw, and then Khal Drogo's dying, and this kind of sets forth a lot of Dany's story from there onward. So it is a big episode, despite it's not just big because Ned dies. It's big for a lot of reasons.
Viserion was already dead, so Viserys, her brother.
Yeah,
he would have been.
I think he dies in episode 7. Okay. The Golden Crown. Okay. Number 3, season 3, episode 9, The Reigns of Castamere, written by Satan.
9? Are they all episode 9s?
No.
Written by who?
Satan.
Why? Just because of what happens?
It was really written by David Benioff and D.B. Weiss. directed by David Nutter, aired June 2nd, 2013. So the day before my 17th birthday.
But you didn't even watch the show yet.
I did not. So, my recap. Beyond the wall, Sam and Gilly continue their journey south. In the north, Bran realizes that he can warg into humans when he does so to Hodor to stop him from crying out.
Could it be any human, or like is it
just kind of weak-minded? Okay. Yeah.
Oh. I like to think that Hodor was just willing to do that for Bran.
Crying out during a thunderstorm and alerting the nearby wildling raiding party. Unbeknownst to them, Jon is in that raiding party and is ousted when he refuses to let Tormund execute an old man. So Jon fights off the wildlings, subtly stopping Ygritte from defending him because she starts to, but he kind of pushes her like he's fighting her so that she doesn't get killed by them or ousted. And is attacked by a warged raven, giving him his kind of classic scars around his eyes, and is saved by Summer, controlled by Bran, who allows him enough time to escape.
Didn't Jon recognize Summer?
I think he does.
Oh, okay. I couldn't remember because I just remember. But also, was that one of the first? But they're so close. They're so close to each other.
Yeah, it is. He also gets shot with
two in that
3
episode,
arrows.
Actually, they're so close to each other.
Yeah.
Yeah, he gets shot. But he's wearing such big furs.
But still, he gets shot 3 times, and he basically barely makes it out.
Doesn't Ygritte shoot some of them?
She shoots all of them. Yeah.
Okay.
In Yunkai, Dario, Jorah, and Grey Worm infiltrate the city and successfully capture it for Dany.
My guy!
At the twins, I have in parentheses, takes a shot. Robb apologizes to Walder Frey and his daughters for breaking his oath to marry one of them. Meanwhile, the Hound and Arya are close to the stronghold as the Hound plans to ransom Arya off to her mother and brother. Frey marries one of his daughters to Catelyn's brother Edmure in Robb's stead. After the two are carried off to their bedding ceremony, the band strikes up The Rains of Castamere. One of those band members is the drummer from Coldplay. A song about a family who was wiped out after betraying the Lannister. The Rains, specifically, is their name. They were bannermen, and they aren't anymore. Arya and the Hound are turned away at the gates of the twins because they're pretending to be merchants who are there dropping stuff off for the party. But the former, Arya, sneaks in to the twins and sees Grey Wind being executed by Frey's. Inside, all hell breaks loose as Frey's son Lothar shanks Talissa. Robb is shot with arrows and stabbed by Roose Bolton, and Catelyn murders Frey's wife, only to have her throat slit by Black Walder.
But she kind of doesn't even care at that point.
Yeah, we kind of went into that in very big depth last week.
Yeah, that was another oh my god, Arya is so close to some Starks. Yeah. Let's get them. Oh my god, I forgot how annoying that was throughout the show, where so many times.
And then we have even the point where Bran has caught up with Jon, and he's like, "We can go to him," but then Jojen's "If you do,
the one
Craster's Keep."
That's it.
But he's like, "Yeah, if you do, he's gonna make you come back to the wall with him."
Yeah, and then there's also when they get to the Eyrie. And they're like, Lady Arryn is dead, whatever, but she doesn't know that Sansa's up there, but Arya just starts losing her shit and cracking up, and the Hound is like, I just want money. I just want money, okay?
So
come on.
Why this is number 3.
Yeah, Sansa was right there.
By this point in the story, many may have worried that the show had lost its teeth a little. Arya was close to being saved and reunited. Robb was a couple miles from claiming the Iron Throne. He had a son on the way, or child on the way. Bran just unlocked new awesome powers. Jon completed his mission.
Power unlocked.
And got away safely, albeit pretty injured, but safely. And Dany was cleaning up in Essos. Then this episode happened, and now I have PTSD. So before going into the meat of the episode, it is important for the characters of Jon, Dany, Bran, and Arya, but then we also have the Red Wedding.
Okay.
It was difficult to escape the fallout of this episode, as it was one of the most shocking scenes ever put to TV. It was spoiled for me, even though I had no clue who these characters were. I still heard about it.
Going in. That's why when our friend Meme was watching, we were like, how the fuck do you not know?
Yeah. Robb had stepped up as the series' new classical hero, and Catelyn was one of the few voices of reason on the show. Their deaths not only signified a huge loss for the North and the good guys, but also prevented/delayed the satisfaction of retribution for Ned's execution 2 seasons earlier. Exactly 2 seasons. It was ballsy, well-written, and well-executed. Poor choice of words. And there's a reason it's completely permeated pop culture since its airing. You hear people talk about Red Wedding this, Red Wedding that all the time. People will describe other crazy events as being the Red Wedding episode of Westworld, or this is the Red Wedding episode of Walking Dead.
It's the Red Wedding episode of Jane the Virgin.
It did have a Red Wedding episode.
I know.
I don't watch that show, and
I know like the thing that happened
because I like that actor because he does that really funny video.
Haley Lou Richardson.
He does that really funny video about
The Edge of 17. Yeah, friend.
Cement.
They're engaged, actually. Sorry, Cement.
Yeah, he has that video he did on Instagram of like talking about cement that he found, and then it ends with him going, "So semen," and then that ends.
But no, I remember it's on one of the late night shows, George R. R. Martin, they like showed him people reacting to like the Red Wedding. And he was just like, see, that's why all your friends were super, super sad. Like
in 2002 when the book came out.
15 years ago. Because all like your nerd friends, that's why. And that's why they filmed you watching this now. Because they knew. And I was like, yeah. Like if I had like read like the books like before, like, yeah, I would have recorded all my... No, I'm saying like I would have recorded all my friends because I would have been like, now you know. Now you fucking know.
Yeah. Okay, number 2. Season 5, episode 8. There we go. It's not an episode 9.
What episode?
Hard Home. Written by David Benioff and D.B. Weiss.
Which episode is this?
Hard Home.
No, the...
Season 5, episode 8.
I didn't hear the season.
Oh. Directed by Miguel Sapochnik. Aired May 31st, 2015. I'm
really just trying to figure out what your number 1 will be.
Weeks away from graduating high school. So, brief recap. In King's Landing, Cersei is imprisoned.
We were watching live at this point.
Yes. Imprisoned and abused by Septa Unella, and is visited by Qyburn, who tells her that Kevin Lannister is to be Tommen's new hand, and that, quote, the work continues.
Who the fuck is Kevin Lannister?
Kevin Lannister is her uncle.
I just
Tywin's brother.
We have a game called Hand of the King. And it has like a bunch of like characters, and I knew every single like name and all. And then there's just this one card with some motherfucker named Kevin Lannister.
Wait, you missed the episode all about Kevin Lannister?
What episode?
People are trying to break into the Red Keep, and he puts traps all around. He puts like micro machines on the ground.
He does what?
Puts micro machines on the ground. That? The little cars, and he puts paint cans.
Stop.
They swing down and hit people. Little Kevin Lannister.
But no, and you were the only one who was like, guys, no, like Kevin, and I was like, there's nobody named Kevin in Game of Thrones.
It's just because I like read the books.
Who the fuck is named like, Kevin in Game of Thrones?
Who's named John?
John, that sounded normal in the land of Game of Thrones. But you can't tell me that there's a family called Tywin, Tyrion, Cersei, Kevin. Like, no. I have a cousin
Jamie.
Oh my god. Even so, it's not as common. Like, it's just saying, oh my god.
Okay. In Bravos, Arya is given kind of her first hit by Jaqen H'ghar, who instructs her to take out an insurance salesman, no joke, an insurance salesman, who has gypped a family when one of his clients died. So she does so.
Oysters, clams, and cockles.
Oysters, clams, and cock. At the wall, Gilly tends to Sam's wounds that he received in the previous episode when defending her from members of the Night's Watch, and the two discuss why Jon trusts the wildlings. Sam says that they can't hope to defeat the White Walkers without their aid. In Winterfell, Reek, a.k.a.
Alfie Allen,
Theon Greyjoy, confesses to Sansa that Bran and Rickon are still alive and that escape from Ramsay is generally futile. Ramsay tells his father... But it does give her,
like, a tidbit of happiness knowing that her brothers could still be alive.
She was pretty hopeless before.
Even though there's no, like, absolute confirmation that they're still alive, it's like, she knows that they weren't killed at that time.
Yeah.
So there's a good chance that they somehow managed to stay alive. And at that point, yeah, they both had...
Yeah. Ramsay tells his father of his plan to sabotage Stannis' encroaching attack. In Meereen, Tyrion and Jorah arrive before Dany.
I am the gift.
Tyrion convinces her of the help he can provide given his previous experience as Hand of the King, and Jorah decides to prove his loyalty in the fighting pits. Then at Hardhome, Jon Tormund and his crew of Night's Watchmen arrive to meet with the leaders of the Wildlings. Tormund kills their current leader, the Lord of Bones, and Jon offers them dragonglass and lands south of the wall to aid him. Just after he convinces roughly 5,000 Wildlings to join him, the White Walkers attack. Yes, a
Plus
giant.
1/1.
The last of the giants at this point. Well, that we know of. Jon and his forces do their best to defend...
The last of the living giants.
Yes. Defend Hardhome, but are forced to retreat after being completely fucking trounced.
Yeah.
Jon manages to kill one of the big general White Walkers with Longclaw, but then witnesses the Night King resurrecting everyone who had been killed in the fight, including the rest of the White Walkers that he'd down.
So I was wondering, is it what's the word that I'm looking for? Closeness.
Proximity?
Proximity that would bring them back faster? Or since he was right there, he was I can just bring you back now.
Yeah.
But otherwise it would have taken a little bit of time.
That's why it's so shocking in one of the earliest episodes that someone who's died south of the wall turns into a walker.
What episode?
Fucking hell. It's one of the Night's Watchmen who died.
Oh.
He died north of the wall, but his body was brought back.
Yeah, I
and usually
that.
When the body's brought back, it's not that big of a deal.
But I think the magic was already
the magic's
working.
Encroaching. I just used that word again. Why this is number...
I was going to say since he died north of the wall, maybe that was why.
Yeah, I guess. Why it's number 2. This episode does have some important moments for Arya.
You get attached to a random character and then she fucking bites it.
And has to go being Pitch Perfect too.
I think she was already in that. Because when it aired, I remember going, she's in Pitch Perfect too.
Big moment for Arya, Sansa, Ramsay / Stannis, and Tyrion. But it's the terrifying...
Stannis is still alive?
Yes.
What?
But it's the terrifying 20-minute battle sequence at the end that truly sets it apart. Miguel Sapochnik's direction of action is superb, and it shines brightly in this episode. So before this episode, Season 5, I already kind of talked about this, was proving to be a dull dud of a season. Scenes and episodes dragged and generally went nowhere, but this is a certified diamond in the rough of what I consider to be the worst season of the show by far. The episode's finale...
it was the slowest season.
Yeah, revealed many important things going forward, such as Jon being an excellent leader and seemingly the only major character, who cares about actually saving humanity at this point. And Valerian Steele. Yeah, but he's kind of because Jon cared. He's spreading the word.
Jon's right-hand man.
Davos Seaworth?
No, Jon's right-hand man at that point.
Ed?
Yes, thank you, Ed. Davos was still with...
Stannis.
Because apparently Stannis was still alive at this point.
I think it was either this episode or the next episode where Davos gets sent off to go do other stuff.
So that they can kill Shireen.
Yeah.
That's literally why, because Stannis knew that he would try to stop them.
Yep. We also see that
more about his child than he did.
Valerian Steele can kill White Walkers. The Night King and his forces are the most serious threat to the kingdom, and everything that happened before the battle in this episode is ultimately futile and pointless. So that's another reason why the season kind of seems so shit, is because it's we have all these people who are doing things that are ultimately pointless in the long run, compared to Jon's story where he's
opens everyone's eyes, where it's
this shit is serious and everything else should fall to the wayside.
I said the White Walkers were kind of on the back burner for a while in the beginning of the
Everything should fall to the wayside except for season 6, episode 9, The Battle of the Bastards. My number 1 choice.
Why are you doing this?
I'm bringing it to my face.
Stop.
Okay. Okay, number 1, as I said, season 6, episode 9, Battle of the Bastards.
This is one of the ones that I can name.
David Benioff and D.B. Weiss.
And the purple.
Directed again by Miguel Sapochnik. So I guess he's my favorite director of Game of Thrones episodes. So he directed my 2 favorites. It aired.
Real quick, do you remember when Joffrey died?
Yeah.
That was great. Did you watch it at that point? Or because I know I watched that one live.
No.
You didn't catch up until after.
You were a season before me that you started watching.
Sorry, go on.
It aired June 19th, 2016. It was the only good thing about 2016. That and Deadpool Deadpool was pretty good. Oh, and Civil War.
Okay. Do you want to redact that sentence then? Because you...
It was one of the 3 good things about 2016.
Okay.
In Marine, Dany, Tyrion, Missandei, and Grey Worm meet with the Masters, who say they'll allow Dany to live if she leaves Westeros, gives them Missandei and the Unsullied, and allows them to kill her dragons. She responds to this by suggesting they surrender now, and when they don't, she destroys their fleet with her dragons.
Climbing onto the dragon first, and then flying around and killing them.
Grey Worm executes 2 of the 3 Masters and tells the survivor to tell others of what he saw Dany do. Dario and the Dothraki killed the remaining sons of the Harpy. Fucking hate those guys.
I forgot.
They're so just annoying. R.I.P. My man.
But they did cause like a great comeback for Drogon.
True. But that was basically...
It made it even more epic.
That was basically just the scene from Attack of the Clones.
Okay, let's move on.
Around the survivors, a perimeter
Stop.
Sorry.
Go.
Dario, yes, a.k.a.
Naharis.
Stephen from The House on Haunted Hill.
A.k.a.
Haunting of Hill House.
Cal from Orphan Black.
I guess so. Arrive to offer Dany their fleet. Oh, and the Greyjoys arrive to offer Dany their fleet and aid in exchange for her recognizing Asha's claim to the Iron Islands when she wins the throne, which she agrees to.
Who?
Asha Greyjoy.
Yara?
Theon's... Oh, fuck. She's called Asha in the books. Yara.
Isn't Asha somebody else? Isn't that...
Asha. There's Asha. O-S-H-A.
Who's the
That's
one?
why they changed her name, because it's confusing, because there's a wildling named Asha.
Who's taking care of Rickon?
Yes.
Okay.
Sorry.
Yara
in the show, sorry.
Sorry, I got very confused. I was like, she fucking ate...
To recognize...
She bit it.
Yara's claim to the Iron Islands. In Winterfell, Jon, Sansa, Tormund, and Davos meet with Ramsay and his bannermen to discuss a diplomatic resolution and set the terms of their ensuing battle when it's pretty obvious that there's going to be no diplomatic.
It's really great. Sorry, I know that you said that, but also she leaves on a great note.
Ramsay tries to get Jon to stand down by offering him and his cohorts pardonings in exchange for Sansa, while Jon counters with the offer of a one-on-one duel to settle the matter instead of having everybody die. Ramsay refuses, and the fight is on. Sansa criticizes Jon for fighting without a full force of men behind him, but he insists that now is the best time to attack. Davos and Tormund bond over formerly serving unjust men. Davos discovers Shireen's burned. I wrote horse, but it's not a horse. It's a stag figurine where she was burned alive.
That he carved for her.
Yes. Both armies then gather outside Winterfell the next day, and Ramsay kicks off the battle by having Rickon run to join Jon to bait Jon into going into the middle of a battlefield. It works. Rickon is killed, and Jon is stuck in the middle of the battlefield.
Like you know what? I understand. Rickon... In like the books, he's like a child, like so obviously there's not much for him.
He starts at 3 years old.
Yeah, so like there's not much for him to be like doing, but like they had opportunities on the show, you know?
Yeah.
There was an opportunity. And they didn't take any oh my god. And they fucking killed his dog.
Shaggy dog.
Yes. Also, boys gotta learn to serpentine.
Had to learn. He's dead.
Yeah, he had to learn how to
So Jon's stuck in the middle of a battlefield without a horse, but he is saved by his own men. But they're at a huge disadvantage because they've been baited into the center of the battlefield, which is where they didn't need to be because Jon was
fighting, but Sansa definitely was correct in the...
I mean, but it was Jon's plan to not charge and to have them charge them. And that was like, he says that was their only chance of winning. Which
is why, but like I'm saying, like he's better at the fighting, not so much the planning, because clearly he didn't listen to his own plan. You know? I understand why.
He's good at the planning. He's just super emotional.
Yes. So that's what I'm saying. Sansa was definitely...
Yeah.
She had the better plan.
This allows Ramsay's forces to surround Jon's and slowly but surely crush them. Just as all hope seems lost, Sansa arrives with Littlefinger, her cousin Robin, and the Knights of the Vale.
Robin what? Aaron. Thank you.
This distraction allows Tormund to kill Small John Umber, who's a fucking prick. and deserved it. Then Jon, Tormund, and 1-1 the Giant pursue a fleeing Ramsay back into the courtyard of Winterfell. After 1-1 breaks down the door and is killed by Ramsay, Ramsay accepts Jon's suggestion for a one-on-one fight. Jon accepts and wins pretty easily. The Starks then have taken Winterfell back at long last. The episode ends with Sansa executing Ramsay by having his ferocious hounds eat him alive. End of the best episode of Game of Thrones.
Yeah. My favorite things from that episode are one, kind of like the...
So would you say this is your favorite episode too?
It's a great one. It's a great one. It's one that I remember very well because it's so much more recent.
True.
Than others.
But it's not recency that put it at the top of my list. It's just, it is
for me,
best.
it's like, for me, like, I feel like a lot of mine would end up being the later seasons because, like, those are the ones that are fresher in my mind, you know? And I don't have time to just go back and, like, rewatch all of them. But anyway, so the things that just I remember, even while it was airing, that, like, everyone was, like, noticing, that, like, stood out was, one, the small amount, how many men did the Mormonts, like, supply?
Like 50.
Yeah, and one of them made it into, like, actual, like, Winterfell. He made it in there because Jon is using his
a bear shield.
And so everyone was like, fuck yeah, 50 men and one of you got there. Like, fuck it up. Love it. Two, the parallel between when Dany was being surrounded when she gets to...
Misa.
Yes, and they're all like, mother, and then when Jon crawls his way out of, like, the just bodies of men, like, everyone was like,
what
oh my
is
God,
the
look.
word that they used when they were, like, described with, like, the producers and stuff? I think it's called the crush or something like that.
Yeah, and apparently that was hell to film, and he was like,
because he has
his one of his
claustrophobia.
Yeah. Also, the veil, it wasn't even just a distraction. They came in and they took out a lot of, like,
almost all of
because they were all on horses at that point, while the others had just, like,
gotten off their horses.
Yeah, and so they were able to just take them out, and it was, like, amazing. And the edits that I've seen from that scene are amazing. What else? Sansa, like, just not even flinching when Ramsay was like, and even when, like, we do defeat you, I'll still take your sister, and, like, my men will, like, take turns. She didn't even fucking flinch, and then she was like, sleep well. It'll be your last one. Yeah.
Oh, I forgot.
Yeah, because when he's like, and if, like, you don't want to just give her up, like, now, then we'll still beat you, whatever. But she just, like, doesn't even flinch, and she's like, sleep well, Lord Bolton. It'll be your last.
No, just says you're going to die tomorrow.
It's just amazing. I love her. Is Arya even in that episode?
No. All of what made Hardhome so great is cranked up to 11 here, I have written. We get a great opening with Dany's victory and new alliance in Meereen, but shift to one of the biggest matchups the show has ever had is the culmination of seasons worths of story. The battle itself is beautifully shot and choreographed, the music is on point, and the tension is high from the get-go, and that goddamn one shot of Jon facing down a wall of charging Bolton men is fucking perfect in terms of characterization. Yeah.
It's like, my God. Amazing.
Big dick energy. Yes. I watched a video of the live, like, orchestra that they had, like the tour that they did a couple of years ago that I wanted to go to but couldn't get tickets to. And they did the music really for that scene. And, like, it's, like, being projected and, like, the whole arena just, like, starts cheering. And I was like, that is exactly how I feel.
The actor for Ramsay, what's his name again?
Ewan Rian.
Yeah, he took, like, two punches from Kit Harington because, like, he accidentally, like, so he, and, like, they were apparently, like, rough. So Kit Harington, like, bought him a beer at the end of the day and was like, I'm really sorry, bud.
Yeah. Jon and Sansa avenge Robb and Catelyn and the Red Wedding, recapture their home, and Sansa,
that was a long time coming,
finally gets to take her revenge on the man who tortured her for so long. Jon also shows his worth and his weaknesses as a leader, fighter, and hero, and he realizes that he can't do it alone and accepts that he needs to accept Sansa's counsel from basically here on out. Mm-hmm. We also lose some greats in this episode, like 1-1 and Rickon, both of which pull at the heartstrings. It's got all the elements for a great fantasy story and a near perfect episode of Game of Thrones. I mean, from the get-go, it's literally just like, It starts with the fight in Marine.
It's tense.
And it just keeps going. It does not have a down moment.
The fight was so tense because there really was a moment where it was like, Tormund's going to die right now. A few times. And then and you're
so even like, shit, is Jon going to die? Yeah. They just brought him back.
And like other like characters that it was like, I can't even like remember their names now, but I was just kind of like, oh my God, like, are they about what? What's happening right now?
Even like the kind of down moments, like of just talking in the episode, are written and directed in such a way that they just kind of keep the pace going. Like it doesn't feel like it slows at all. I mean, it has kind of, and every conversation has a point to the story. It's just, there's no excess in this episode. And I think that's what makes it so great, is that it's an episode of grand things happening, but all of them feel necessary, I suppose.
We got, Peter was like brought back into kind of like Baelish.
Yeah, because he was really absent in that episode, in that season.
Well, yeah, because he like was in the Vale. Eyrie, or in the Vale, whatever. And then when he came to like see Sansa, she was basically like, you knew what Ramsay was like, and even if you didn't, like, you're a fucking idiot. Like, you should have known, and you still, like, you left me there. And so she's basically like, fuck off. But then she's like, you know what? Fine, I'll use you. We're gonna use you for this.
Yeah.
And now they have the Vale because of...
I just don't get why she couldn't have told Jon that she had them on the way.
Well, because she hadn't agreed yet for them to come until, like, that, like, the night before. And she, like, sent a raven because Jon wasn't listening to her. And so she was like, all right, you know what? Like, I didn't want to do this. Because I think she really didn't want to make it seem like...
I mean, but the Vale is pretty far. Going, like, I mean, it's not wishes. Like...
I know. But also, I think that Baelish probably hadn't gone too far because he's creepy like that. He was. True. He was. But also, thanks to him for being so obsessed with her, now the Vale is like fully behind Sansa and Jon because even they were like,
Well, Jon Arryn was an important man to the Starks and the Baratheons.
Well, yeah, but they had kind of been like listening to Baelish.
Yeah.
And then after that.
Anywho, those are my best episodes of Game of Thrones. Thank you for listening to this episode. We are so close. I can also officially confirm that our next episode, our last one, is going to be on the best Game of Thrones characters. And we're going to have a buddy, Julie, on again. She was previously on in the best video games of 2018 episode.
Which
so
I
hopefully,
wasn't.
So this will be your first episode together. Mm-hmm. Thank you for listening to this episode. Be sure to follow us on Facebook and Twitter. We're at 10for10pod on there. Email us at 10for10pod@gmail.com. Follow us, like us on Spotify, Podbean, iTunes. Leave us a nice review. We always appreciate it. And most importantly, be sure to tell a friend or family member or anybody you know who is excited about Game of Thrones, as excited as we are, to check us out. And subscribe to us.
Yeah.
Thanks again for listening to this episode. Please let me know your favorite episodes of Game of Thrones. I'd be happy to hear them and read any comments you have out about them.
Or like favorite moments, which is kind of where I'm at in my boat. You know? I know a favorite moment that I can think of right now.
What's that?
Baelish's trial and execution.
Nice.
It was just so, oh my God.
Shansha.
He had it coming.
Give me your best.
He had it coming.
Give me your best Lord Baelish.
I don't have Baelish impression.
Shansha.
Give me your best Sean Bean one, because he used his own accent, and they all just had to learn it.
Sean Bean.
That's not it at all. That's scary. Give me your best John. How about? Stop.
Jon Snow.
Stop it.
Any more?
How about? No, you already did Joffrey. How about the faceless man?
I am a faceless man.
Okay, goodbye, guys.
All right, hello.
Thank you.
Okay, bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Okay, don't. Can you give him a real goodbye? That's creepy. Jen.
Thank you.
Ow. That's painful. All right, goodbye.
Bye. This podcast is part of the Shrimp Queen Network.
Visit facebook.com/Shrimp Queen Network to see more great podcasts.
Hear them.
Hear more great podcasts.
Good job.
Thanks for listening.